site. This is an admin view, and this is choosing to show the machine translation retrain. So what you have here is you want to select your various translation memory vaults in various language pairs. And so you can select those vaults and choose, and all you simply do is you click retrain. Now this is based on the premise that you have your own version of the software and your own version of an MT engine. And if you have those things and they're running, you can work, let's be honest, MT engines tend to have either horrible to no UIs in general. And so, you have sort of a centralized administrative view in which to manipulate that data or train that data. Okay, I think that's the end of product tour. I do have product open. I can go into the use cases, or I can talk about the software, whatever you want to do. Maybe I'll try and take a look at a couple things here. So this is that community admin screen I think Kirti you were asking about. If they're active translators. So it shows you in real time sort of what's happening. There was 12, now there's 8. Today, it's not 12, 8, and then it just shows you what's happening sort of in the Lingoteks community. So it's not for any specific content owner, but it has various reports. Active translators, project managers. You can also create teams. I didn't show this, but I can show this later if we have time. There's the idea of grouping around teams. So not only can you sort of have individual scoreboards, but you can organize if you're a translator and you're a reviewer, you can group together and try and score. So, for example, Adobe is translating a lot of their product documentation in China. We're doing some pretty big projects in China with them, and there's different resellers or partners that are translating. They want to group together, so they don't want to just score for themselves. They want to score for their partner, not the other ones, and so they want to sort of aggregate their statistics and contributions, and so you can group together as teams. So that was an explicit requirement that came from one of our clients. These are things like authorization roles, tags. The idea is that you can tag data, and the way we try and manage tagging becomes, I think there was a question about it, maybe it was George in your presentation about tagging and how tags become unwieldy and maybe they become more representative of the person tagging as opposed to the content. Well, the idea here is that the administrator, at least in this current implementation, the administrator creates the tags and then they get applied. So there's some sort of control mechanism you can use yourself. It's a user-defined from the admin view version of tags. So the translator can't create tags, they can apply tags. So you try and create some sort of consistency in the tagging model for content. I don't think it's a perfect solution, but it is better than just saying awesome as a tag. So anyway, here's just some JavaScript so you can create sign-up pages, so you can drop in sign-up widgets to become a community translator. Adobe's creating translator clubs. So in their product user groups, they have a groups.adobe.com. There's a 650 product user groups. They can drop in a sign-up. This church can drop in. Any type of content owner that uses our software can generate sign-up forms and place those strategically throughout wherever they have traffic, or can get the right partner portals. Even if they want to do a lot of work with software companies. Obviously, the good thing about software companies is that if you translate the UI and documentation into more languages, all you have to do is provide a link in that country, and you have a localized version. It's easy to distribute. There's not sort of the cost of shipping generally. So there's high advantages for them to localize into more languages, and partners in different countries can be encouraged to do so and get further support for the region. Let's see. We have that's One of the ideas here is that, and I'll show a use case of Adobe as well as the LDS Church. Those aren't inherently mutually exclusive. You could be an Adobe user and you could be Mormon, much to everybody's disbelief. The idea here is you can toggle between communities. So you say, if you're a community translator, you can be part of multiple communities using the Lingoteks platform. And so the idea here is that you have a single username and password, but it gives you access essentially, if you have rights, into different communities.
Is it possible for translators to extract subsets of the data they're working on and maintain some repository locally?
Subsets, do you mean like portions of it, or say like they want to download some of the TM they just created? Yeah, that is configurable from a project management perspective. So if you want to allow a translator to do it, I don't think you can do it on a username on a translator-specific basis, so you have to be assigned to a group of people. Might be interesting to assign it to specific people. But if it's assigned, you can download it. Any other questions before I move on?
What if we use this one school project?
Go for it. Great. These are going to be relatively sort of high-level overviews of case studies of people using the software. I picked two very different ones specifically because they are so different, and hopefully meant to illustrate. But the idea of crowdsourcing, which certainly big fans of, but crowdsourcing is a very vague term. What is a crowd? Who is a crowd? Well, almost everybody has some sort of crowd, but it really depends on who you are as an organization and what kind of content it is. So it could be, a crowd for this lab, otherwise known as the people in the lab. Or it could be, if it's around a church project, generally speaking, or almost always, you'll be a member of the church, otherwise why would you do it? If you're Adobe, why would you translate Adobe content unless you were somehow going to benefit? You know that it's a for-profit corporation, why would you translate Adobe's content? Well, guess what? Adobe is not great at providing all the content that they want, the partner wants in every language in every country. And so in order for them to get more content in their language, the partner says, look, just give me access to the content in a format in which I can translate it. Sure, you can get the TMs, but at least I get this content translated. And maybe we can encourage other people within Vietnam or Russia or whatever the case may be to translate. So a great real-life example of this is when Adobe first released the Flex platform, Russia was way down the list as far as localization. But they were anxious, some of their top partners were anxious to translate or to start Flex projects in Russia, get a jump on other partners. What they did is they actually translated 1,000 pages of content just themselves. Forget Adobe, we're going to do it because we're going to train our developers in the Flex platform. We need to do it in Russian. A lot of these guys are recent engineering grads. So we're going to translate it, we're going to train our folks, we're going to start marketing these projects to Russian companies, and we're going to get a jump start on the market. Okay? So they did that. They translated 1,000 pages. And out of the blue, they contacted them and they said, hey, look, we translated all this content. Are you interested in this? And Adobe says, yeah, sure. Send it over. So they sent them the translated files. And Adobe said, wow, that's interesting. So partners really actually were serious when they said, we want more content in our language. Right? And if you don't do it, we'll do it. But guess what? There's not a platform for it, and this is going on around the world with various partners. So what we're offering is a platform in which to distribute that content to them in an electronic format that controls the files and the source text, so it's, at least they're working on the same versions, the right versions. Gives them a platform in which to translate, and so those TMs that are created as a result of that become, intellectual property of Adobe to reuse, parse through and say, hey, this is high quality change, whatever you want to do.